There's a story about an anthropologist who got a number of children and he made them stand in a line and he said, look at the tree far away. I put a basket of sweets. And when I say, ready, steady, go, you run and whoever reaches there first takes the entire. These were poor children. Now this is a story that I want to tell you about, but I want to introduce this story. There was this big, huge hall. I had already given a talk earlier. And then Michael Goldstein somehow comes to me 5 minutes before the talk. He says that I want you, if you will please talk to them. There were about 6,000 audience over there. And the subject is Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U. Now, I hadn't heard this name before. I knew nothing about what it was. So I told him, I said, Michael, I haven't even heard this name. He said, no, you talk, I'm sure you'll manage it. So I prayed to Bhagwan. I said, Bhagwan, I've never heard this word Ubuntu. What is it about? What do I do now? And there are 6,000 people here, I can't make a fool out of myself. Suddenly a thought came into my mind that Ubuntu's acronym was that unity brings universality of universally nurtured thoughts and understanding. It came straight to my mind. Now my day was made. So I spoke on this subject, which is easy to speak on. Which means there has to be total unity of thought and understanding. If that unity does not exist, there is no way by which you can do anything. So the story about this anthropologist, these children, poor children, hungry as they were, they held their hands and they went together and then shared the contents of the basket. So the anthropologist asked them, tell me, why didn't you all run and collect it? So the children said, I can only be happy if others are happy. But if I'm happy and the others are sad, how can I be happy? So the word Ubuntu really means exactly this. And this was Swami giving me this thought in 5 minutes. And then I spoke on this Universality of Thought and Understanding. So many times, there's so many things I'm able to make acronyms which I have no knowledge of it. I want to mention this is one of the instances, there are so many actually in war situations. On enemy territory, you do not know the lay of the ground. And an enemy territory, you've got to fly low because you can't be picked up by radar. There was a target allotted to me, and I had a wingman with me, one of my juniors. I was commanding a squadron at that time. And that target was very lucrative, very interesting target, and so the criminal element within you comes and you just want to kill, because in any case you don't want to. You're bursting their oil dumps and you're bursting one thing and another, and it looks nice, things blowing up like that. Suddenly my number 2 gave call, bogey. Bogey means you got some fellows hanging around now for you. These mirages, because I overstayed my time there, had come. That was superior to the aircraft that I was flying. And so what was the option? So, of course, I thought of Krishna, and that was Sai Baba. Suddenly I found I could see the blade of grass, how clear it was, and I was that low. And obviously the person could not follow me because this Earth radiates more heat than your aircraft does. So we came back. Now the point I'm trying to make is, I really felt well done, kind of thing. Today I laugh over it, how stupid I was. It was not me flying the machine. It was some other force flying the machine. And he's done it in my case so many times, so many times. I remember ferrying aircraft in abroad, buying them in UK and then bringing it all back, fighter aircraft. And in Marseille, in France, there was bad cloud and the French were very touchy that we didn't wish them. And I said, "Good morning, sir, this is India 1. They were very upset, they wouldn't answer. Then we got into this cloud and we couldn't see anything on the ground. Then there was a call from the things that when things were going wrong and they felt that I was getting too much into the Mediterranean. See? Then they gave us a homing and I came back and landed. And the colonel who was commanding the base came up to my cockpit and he said, "What, you don't have any modern aids. How have you come over here? Tell me, are you a person who's got God with you, or is this just that it happened?" So I told him, I said, "This was God is doing." You see, that is it. Because I didn't know what Swami did that. He came and landed. Things like this has happened so many times in my life, and even now it happens. You see, I've had innumerable dreams. And these innumerable dreams that I've had of Bhagwan is not because I was someone special to him, but as I had mentioned, I think earlier, or I had mentioned some other forums, that a doctor never goes to a person unless that person is a patient. And I was a very serious patient as far as Swami's analysis, which I realize now. It is not because Swami felt that there was something special in me. No, no, no. He realized that I was not living up to my potential. Potential in the human form, potential from the point of view of this understanding as a human being, how much of love can be shared with purity, not love with an attachment to it, that love will give me this in reward or something or the other. And this is the way that I found that Swami had given instructions to me one way or the other. And I remember in London I had given a speech and there was another forum. They asked me to come the following morning and speak to them, so I agreed because I had nothing ready going on for me in the morning. That morning, about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or something like that, Swami came in my dream. And he had a finger like this. "Suri, you will not go there." He didn't mention where, not go there. But there was no other place to go there in the morning. So then I rang up and I told them that I was not able to come. The fact of the matter is, these are instances galore where Swami has come and told me. But I can't understand, why should a man like me who has committed so many sins in life, that Swami should come in my dream at 2:30 in the morning and say, "Suri, I'm going. I've gone. Suri, I've gone." I just can't understand. But I know one thing, that he loves me dearly and I love him even more. You know, I want to mention to you, like you talk about commonality in different faiths. Now, among us, from Sanatana Dharma, Matur Deva Bhava, Pitru Deva Bhava. Among the Christians, the 10 Commandments, they are on 2 tablets. God could have made them on 1 tablet. I mean, the first tablet is man's duty to God. Second tablet is man's duty to man. But in the first tablet, the 5th point is worship of your parents. That's Christianity. In Islam, Muhammad was asked, "Who needs my total attention?" And Muhammad said, "Your mother." This man didn't believe. He asked again Muhammad, "Whom should I give my total attention to?" He said, "Mother." He asked him again and again. Muhammad said the same thing. Then he said, "Whom do I give my..." attention to after my mother, he said, your father. Matru Deva Bhava, Pitru Deva Bhava. You see the commonality. Our problem is that we as individuals are not looking at religion from what it was meant to be. We are looking at religion from a very different perspective. And we are saying that religion is a way by which we go to the temple and we pray to Lakshmi. Bhagwan, you let me win this lottery of 24 lakhs. I promise I will put 6,000 rupees in the temple. Now, you must be a loony. Why should Bhagwan for 6,000 rupees give you 24 lakhs? In any case, money is not his problem. He can produce as much as he wants. But the understanding of the concept. So what I was trying to say in this whole issue is that the whole game of spirituality is based on what I had mentioned earlier. That a spiritual being is not the one who sits under a tree and meditates there. The spiritual one is who is a human being. I wanted to mention two things over here which is of significance. The first one was that on this thing about the mother, I'm sure all of you love your mother, but my love for my mother was something which is, I can't explain because I've finished 89 years in July. Even now I put my head at her feet or her chappals, which I call them padukas, before I start my prayers. And my sister's chappals over there, I do namaskar. There's a very nice way, like I say to my mother, Namo Nama, Mother Paduka Charanam Dhyam Nama. And I personally admit that Bhagwan gave me so much love is not because I was a special being, because for me, Matru Deva Bhava was the greatest thing. I advocate to everyone, you worship your mother, no matter how much your wife may like or dislike. You worship your mother and God will reward you. That is the greatest role. Because there is no mother who will do anything that will harm her own son. This is the bottom line. I have this habit of taking all the shivlings. I have 9 shivlings to be blessed by Swami, padukas to be blessed by Swami, apart from blessings for myself, which I seem to have an insatiable desire to get it done every day, repetitive. And Bhagwan has been so loving. The verse he told me when I was doing as kissing his feet, he says, Suri, don't sleep, because I was kissing it 3 times. He said, don't sleep. He wants you to, be quick about this whole thing. So similarly, I had taken shivlings, out of which one shivling was being materialized by Swami for my wife. Gave it to my wife, but my wife not a believer. So I look after that shivling. So Swami blessed the other 8, but not the one that he had given to my wife some years earlier. I had a Krishna Murti which has been with me, made out of ivory for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, given to me by my grandmother. And it was sacred to me, and I flew with it in my pocket, and wars everywhere, and things were really going right for me, and no danger coming my way. I took it to Swami. Swami looked at it, and he said, Suri, hand broken, feet broken, and he looked at me. I kept quiet, but the thought which Swami read was, Bhagwan, if my leg and my hand were broken, would you throw me away? So he said, okay, and he gave that back to me. I came out and I spoke to one of the directors there. I said, Swami asked me this. And this is what I conveyed for my part. He says, "You're so silly. You should have said, yes, Swami, he would have given you a gold Krishna." And I genuinely believe what I... Why should I, if something has broken, whom I love, I do believe that that represents the ultimate, why should I forsake it? Because do unto others as you wish them to do unto you. So that basically is my orientation in this particular context. There's one other instance I want to share with you, and this is that I have, from the time that I was exposed to Swami, I went for his birthdays every time. But never did I go on my birthday to get his blessings. I think it was in 1996 or 97 I had my bypass surgery. And I've been a relatively healthy man, not had any other serious problems as such. But that 75th birthday, something was a nagging kind of desire that I must go to Swami. So I went to Swami. I arrived there on a Monday and my birthday was on a Saturday. So Swami said, "Suri, kab aaya?" So I told him, "Bhagwan, I've come this morning." And he went away. Then he came back, "Suri, when is birthday?" Now, the Swami is asking, because I didn't tell him I come here for my birthday. So I said, "Saturday, Swami." "No, Friday." Fine. And this, he did that till Friday. Saturday morning, at about 4 o'clock, I had this aroma of vibhuti. And I woke up with it and I said to myself, "Bhagwan has come to bless me." Then I got this aroma of marigold flower. After that, I found that I wanted to throw up. I was getting sick. And my eyeball was turning upwards. And this happened to me 19 times on that day from 4 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. I was told by one of the American doctors of Indian origin to go to super specialization hospital because things did not augur well for me. But I didn't listen and then sat in the veranda next to his room, and Swami came out maybe 50 times or more, never looked at me, and all I was saying is, "Bhagwan, there can be no better place that I can die than at your feet over here. Please come in front of me, let me do my Pad Namaskar and you can take me away." But there was no response to this. And then in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, this is 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I heard a voice, "Suri," and he did this. So I went to Bhagwan. And there he took off my bush shirt. And then he was saying something, I don't know, and rubbing my body. And I felt I was fit like a fiddle. So after Swami let me go from there, I was there inside for about 20 or 30 minutes. When I went outside and Swami came, I said, "Bhagwan, I want to just ring up my wife." So I rang up my wife and told her that this is what had happened. And then there was hell to play. There was a phone call to my children abroad and all of them jumping down my damn neck. And eventually I left for back to Delhi from Puttaparthi. And as I was leaving from there, Swami said, "Suri, take some vibhuti." So I turned around, took some vibhuti and I came back. And today, as I mentioned earlier, I finished my 89 years in July this year. And my heart shows it's not bad at all. You know, this is something very surprising. I always knew that I should not pray to God for money because he would look after my interests. And experience has also shown that despite my 4 children going to schools in Darjeeling, when I was posted in Allahabad, and they were in boarding at St. Paul's, Darjeeling, and at the Loretto's, somehow money would come my way or bursary would come my way. So based on this, I didn't want to buy a lottery ticket, but it was my birthday and my wife insisted that I bought a lottery ticket. You never know. And so did my daughter say that you never know, you might get something. So what's the harm? So I bought a lottery ticket and I put it under Swami's Paduka. And that was it. Obviously nothing came. When I came back from London 5 months or 6 months later, Swami called me for an interview, and as I was entering, he held my hand. And he said, Suri, money not for you. So I said, yes, Bhagwan. He said, then why do you put lottery ticket under my feet? Which surprised me because I used to put it under the Paduka for everything. I have never bought a lottery ticket after that, nor am I interested in buying it. And talking about this money, not that I have been a devta or anything, but I have had money sufficient for sending my children to the best of schools. I have had enjoying my life the best that I could in a materialistic environment, never below what I thought was my ego or my dignity. And there was money sufficient. But when I thought that I was retiring as a vice chief, and I said, I don't have very long to go, and I don't have a house, I don't have a substantial bank account. So I used to pray, even in the office where I was sitting, that Bhagwan, all I ask you, give me a house and 10 lakhs, and I'll manage. Of course, today I realize the stupidity of it, stupidity of the statement, as Swami knew straight away. Well, cutting a long story short, you're sitting in a house which is decent enough, and I do wish to confess that both my pension and what I have as savings is enough to see me in an exceptionally comfortable style of life. These have been given by God because I didn't have them. Swami was a man with an exceedingly nice sense of humor. Bhagwan called my wife and I for an interview. And as we entered the room, he looked at me and then he looked at my wife and he said, wife, W-I-F-E, worry invited forever. So my wife turned around and said, it could also be wisdom invited forever. And Swami laughed it off. There was this foreigner, this fellow standing out there. He waved his hand and he said, hi, Swami. And Swami waved his hand and said, hi.